Hey, what's up, guys? So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and make a video for people that are trying to get better at autocross. This is something that I found in my most recent videos, and I think is a really good illustration of how not all corners are created equal. Your decisions or mistakes during some of these really important corners can set you up for success or for failure. And most importantly, just how far those mistakes can follow you throughout a course. So in this video, I'm going to be focusing on my position in the corner mark number 2 and with the red arrow, which is dictated by your line and your speed coming out of element or corner number 1. So your position at element number 2 dictates how well or how poorly you're going to do as you enter elements 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. On this course, it is the final section of the course, and I'd say it's about an eighth total of the entire course. And something else really important to note is just how fast that particular set of elements is. So if you mess up at element number 1, you have set yourself up to be slow in a section that is supposed to be very fast, and that is going to cost you a lot of time. On this particular course, that set of elements is only about an eighth of the course. There are courses I have driven where if you are late or too fast, going through a slow corner that is going to set you up for a fast section, there are sometimes 10 to 15 more elements you have to get through before you can reset your line and get back on track. So I'm going to pull up a freeze frame of my last two runs, right at element number 2 and where the arrow was on the map. So the first thing that should jump out to you is how far off I am from that cone on run 3 versus run 4. And arguably, I should be even closer to that cone. Neither of these corner exits were perfect, but run 3 was significantly worse. So I'm going to play the video at half speed and let's talk about some stuff. So my problems begin when I'm too tight on the cone marked number 1, and not only am I too tight, I'm far too fast, which is going to end up pushing me out very wide for this next element as I approach cone number 2. Because of incorrect speed and positioning, you can see that my hands are late for just about every single element for the rest of the course. You can see that my hands are turning in as I'm at the cone or past them, instead of being early and before the cones. So I end up pushing out very wide and nailing a cone right at the finish, as I try to carry the speed that I should be able to carry through that very fast section, but I'm unable to due to my poor line. So I hope you can see how quickly your mistakes can pile up when your car is in the wrong position. I'm way too wide here at cone number 2 because I was too fast and not in the correct position all the way back at cone number 1. So it can all add up and kind of snowball out of control very quickly, and then you're left with a bad time. Which brings me back kind of to the thesis statement of this whole video, which is knowing which corners are important, knowing which corners you can push to gain speed in, and most importantly, knowing that getting your car in the correct position for these important corners can really help you or really hurt you if you've done it incorrectly. Now, as we saw, speed wasn't the number one reason why I was slow there. It was mostly my line of attack, which is why knowing the important cones to backside and which cones you're able to stay off of is so important. I will also say real quick that this is a slow element, which means you have to drive this element slow. If you try to get too aggressive and drive this element too fast, you will be offline. You will either be too wide coming into cone number 2, or so far off of cone number 1 attempting to gain speed, you will have lost the time anyways in the distance that you created. Which is exactly why you have likely heard your novice instructor repeating the phrase, drive the fast parts fast and the slow parts slow. And more often than not, you have to drive those slow parts slow in order to drive the fast parts fast. So now let's look at my run number 4. It is not perfect by any means, but is executed much better. I am much earlier on these cones, and it allows me to drive a better line through the finish. So starting out, I believe my arc here was better around cone number 1, which I really should be off of even more, but I'm at a slower speed, which allows me to hug cone number 2 much tighter, and you can see my hands already unwinding and getting early for these next set of elements. So as compared to run number 3, I'm turning before these cones, I have a better line, and it allows me to be on the throttle and be more aggressive while under control as I go through the finish. So if you get anything from this video, what I'm really hoping to get across is how your choices can set you up for success or failure and how long those choices last in an autocross course. This example was only 5 elements following cone number 2. There are courses where if you exit a corner wrong, it is going to be a solid quarter of the course before you're able to reset and get back on track. That's why doing as many course walks as you can in the morning is so important, so that you have a good idea of which cones you need to backside, which cones you need to get close to, and which corners you should absolutely not overcook. You know how Doc Hudson told Lightning McQueen that if you find yourself going hard enough left, you'll be going right? That's kind of how it is with these corners. If you take the corner at the right speed, the slow speed, you find yourself going real fast afterwards. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.